In the beginning, there was no such thing as marriage. In a population, basically anyone can have sex with anyone. No significant other binding relationship. Without you belonging to me. I belong to the concept of you. Relationships are fluid, overlapping, and constantly changing. So you can imagine a small tribe, no couple, no one is famous. It doesn't even exist. Because of these concepts, it hasn't been invented at all. What does that exist? There is only one East-West group, and naturally occurring relationships within groups. So the family structure as we understand it today, completely non-existent at that stage. The basic unit is not a pair of people. It's a group. And it's interesting that at that time, between men, it's not as clear as it was who dominates whose relationship. It's not who suppresses who, but the whole social form. It has not yet developed to the family because there is none. The small unit with two people. Everyone is in a relatively in the group-based structure. Roles are emerging. The child does not belong to the father. At this stage, the idea of a father is inherently unstable. Do you know who your mother is? It's certain, but who the father is not sure. And it doesn't matter. Children are raised by the whole group, but identity belongs. Naturally lean on the mother's side. The reason is simple. It's the only biological relationship that can't be denied. And the logic behind all this is actually very realistic. Live leisurely. Early humans are few in number. Mortality resources are unstable. The most important thing is to keep this group alive. If you limit the relationship to a fixed one, instead it will lower the survival success rate of the group. Chaos. It's just the rules haven't come out soon. Humans started noticing patterns. Those who grew up together, people who are closely related, start to be excluded from the relationship. The first limitation is introduced. Mind you, it's not morality. It's not love. It's the instinct that starts to slowly turn into structure. People started avoiding relationships. Even they themselves can't explain why. But when you can't, that happens. The whole system changes because when not everyone can, you've gone from a purely group relationship. Take the first step. Move to control. Here we go. Relationships are starting to become a bit this stage is commonly referred to as a visiting marriage. Simply put, it's that relationships are no longer the random flow, but it hasn't developed into two people living together. Will go to a certain woman for the night. Leave in the morning. Return to your own group, connected but not living together. No common property. There is no real family. Why is this happening? Because at this stage, we still have women at the center of society. The true unit is the woman and her family, rather than a couple. So even if two people are related, the relationship doesn't change its original structure. This directly affects status. Women are the center of the family. He won't move, will not leave their group. I'm not attached to a man. The man is the one who visits. He can come or go. He doesn't control the family. It's not the heart of the family. It's even more obvious on the child's side. The child belongs entirely to the mother's side. He grew up in his family, raised by his relatives. As for the biological father, basically no responsibility. Sometimes even the presence is low. What really matters is the matrilineal line. So this is the first time a relationship starts to have options. You can choose someone, but you won't establish a common understanding with him. Unit of life. I wouldn't build a family around a man. And then there's the couple marriage. Relationships start to become more stable. Spend more time with a woman. Sometimes even shape a more basic shared life. Compared to visiting, this relationship is significantly more fixed. But notice, that's not what we understand today. Strict monogamy. Relationships can still end relatively easily. Only belong to each other. It's not quite done yet. Why did this change happen? Not because of love, because reality has changed. A little more capacity. Life started to settle down a bit. Raising a child has also become more complicated. Human, no longer just trying to live every day. It's no longer enough to just come and go at night. Children need more stable care. Daily life also requires more regular cooperation. That's where long-term partnerships come in. This is an upgrade to survival mode, not the birth of significant others. Look at the status relationship. This is crucial. At this stage, the gap between men and women is not as big as matrilineal-centered structures. It's not completely gone. So, women are not completely controlled by men, although it is a pair. But this relationship, it hasn't become male-dominated. That stage is still waiting. The same is true for the child. The children are still mainly on the mother's side. The mother-child relationship, between father and son, blood and identity are still more female. So, although it already looks like a family, but the ownership of the child has not really shifted to the father. That's what this is about. For the first time, there was a significant other relationship. Not just sex. It's not just visits, but a long-term partner who can be identified. But the center of the family has not yet fully shifted. The child to the man, still closer to the mother. The next step is fire, and the direction has changed. Relationships are no longer just for survival. They start to be shaped by it. You will see polygamy, you see polyandry. But these are not random. Behind every structure, there is a clear economic logic. Let's start with resource constraints. Harsh in some environments where land and food are limited, there's polyandry. The classic example is brotherhood. The logic is straightforward. If each brother started his own family, the land will be divided. If you share a wife, families can stay together. The wife is marrying into the brotherhood. Rather than a certain man, the child no longer corresponds to a clear father, to this common family. There are even more extreme cases where father and son marry. For example, a government official is married. The family needs to maintain labor and wives share between different alms. In this case, kinship itself becomes blurred. Some children will call one person father at the same time, grandfather, but these two men are actually my mother's husbands. Another one is friends. Usually happens when there is a shortage of labor. The husband is sick or absent for a long time. Another man will be introduced into the family operation, but his status is usually lower, not exactly the same as the original husband. Look at the adequacy of resources in turn. When resources are concentrated in the hands of certain polygamy, men, and it comes in more than one form. There is a mother-daughter type. A man marries a woman. If this woman had a daughter and the daughter is an adult, you might also have sex with this man. If you are not yet an adult, you may also become his wife when he grows up. So mother and daughter work together. And sisters, multiple sisters married to the same man, sometimes with multiple brothers. More complex structures. This allows for a more centralized family relationship. Do not be dispersed. There are regular ones. A man has multiple wives, relatively close. Each has its own living space. This usually occurs when resources are more abundant. And then there's the hierarchical structure. Wife and concubine, a wife of the highest status. Here are the lower status women. Women are no longer equal. Their status depends on the man. Another system is to transfer wives. After a man passes away, her wife won't leave, but buy to another male in the family. The logic is simple. Neither people nor labor can flow out. If you look at these together, you will find a very clear trend. Gender relations are changing. Women are no longer as central as they used to be, but gradually incorporated into a male-centered family structure, sorted and managed. The child is also starting to change. In a polyandrous structure, children still prefer family ownership, but in a polygamous structure, children are increasingly being relegated, and their status also influenced by who the mother is. So at this level, a marriage has completely changed. No longer just a relationship between two system people for controlling resources, a system for organizing labor and establishing the last step is monogamy. That's the form we're most familiar with today. A man and a woman form a stable and long-term family. This is the first time marriage has become a fixed. It's not just an arrangement, but still the same sentence. It's not because humans suddenly discovered love. That the system starts to need to be precise. At this stage, production methods have changed. Men are gradually mastering the main resources, tool, livestock. And when you have concentration problems, you have inheritance. It's not just about having kids. But who are these things going to be delivered to? And to spread it, you have to be sure. You must know who your father is. You must know which child will inherit it. So the relationship starts to become exclusion is not for romance, to control inheritance. Look at status, and this is crucial. Patriarchy officially takes hold. Families began to be male-centered. Women should enter men's homes, become part of his bloodline. His role more and more tied to fertility and family maintenance. Compared to the previous stage, he has less room, also more dependent. The child knows better. Children belong to review. Name, identity. Property is all passed along the male side. This is no longer the kind that can be blurred before, that can be handled flexibly. It's the foundation of the whole system. So monogamy is not the end of love. He's more like the end of control, relational fertility, property, lineage. All are included in a clear and the executable structure. Okay, that's it for today's marriage evolution. If you like this content, remember to like and follow. See you next time.